friends. Welcome to episode 28 of the K-pop Weekly Podcast with Emily Mallon. I'm your host. Lots going on in K-pop this week, so we have a full show. Of course, I'm going to talk about the drama between the head of Adore, the creator of New Jeans, and HYBE. Things have popped off this week. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to discuss here. Plus, I have a new single from RIIZE. We have Doyoung's solo debut. He gave us a full album. And a group called Big Ocean. This is a debut I really, really want to discuss. They're doing amazing things in K-pop. The first hearing impaired K-pop group. Really excited to talk about these guys. So we have a lot to go over tonight. Plus, I've got some poll results from you, my listeners and viewers. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time listening or watching, welcome. If you're one of my loyal listeners and viewers, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in yet another week. I want to make an announcement, though, before I get the show going, because I think it's important to set expectations, and things have changed for me. Okay, so those of you who watch the show or who know me personally know that my dog Freddie is like my everything. That's my ride or die. That's my best friend. That's the official mascot of the show. Freddie was diagnosed with diabetes yesterday. So it sucks. This dog has to get shots every day for the rest of his life, or else he won't live anymore. And regulating his dosage and kind of figuring this out during the first month or so is going to be extremely difficult. So I want to set the precedent that if you guys log in on a Friday morning and there's not a new episode, there's just a lot going on outside of K-pop in my life. Besides this, there's been a lot happening that I haven't shared with y'all. And this is kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, where I'm realizing my time commitment and what I have going on away from all of this is going to have to take priority sometimes and for some weeks. So I just want to set expectations in the next month or so. There may not be a new episode every week. There might be. Maybe everything will go well. But I know I need to be realistic here. This is going to be pretty stressful. Full disclosure, I haven't had a normal night's sleep for over a month. Freddie has been waking up every night, having accidents multiple times a night and stuff like that. It's just been a really, really difficult time. So yeah, I just want to let you all in on what's going on with me, because I love my viewers and listeners. I feel like we're a family, and things are changing pretty dramatically right now for me behind the scenes. So I just want to let you know what's going on. If there's not a new episode one week, I'll make an announcement on social media. But for those of you who don't follow the show or follow me, just know there's some stuff going on with my dog. I'm trying to get him regulated, and it's extremely difficult because it's just me and Freddie. This is my ride or die. We're a duo. So I don't have the resources that a lot of people have as far as family, roommate, all of that type of stuff to help out. It's just me with this little guy. So when stuff like this happens, that kind of adds a challenging element that has me feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie. But I know I'm not the only person whose dog has had diabetes. And I know what I've heard from a lot of people. It sucks. It's really horrible the first couple months. And then you get into routine, and you and the dog can live happily ever after, at least for a number of years before things start to decline. So I'm trying to stay optimistic, but I know these next couple months are going to be insanely difficult. And on top of that, I'm applying to grad school. I have a lot of huge life changes happening. So I wanted to let you guys in on that before I got the show started. Just a disclaimer: in the next month or so, if there's not a new episode, there's stuff going on behind the scenes that I have to attend to, and I'll make an announcement on social media, but just wanted to let you guys know. I don't like not communicating and having people be like, what's going on? Okay, that said, I'm happy I got through that without bawling. You guys, oof. I have been a mess today. I'm actually recording the show a day late this week. Usually I record on Wednesdays, I edit Thursdays, I get the show out to you on Friday. I'm recording this on Thursday night. I found out yesterday at like 5 p.m. about Freddie's diagnosis. And yeah, it's been a rough 24 hours. So whew, I'm happy to talk about K-pop and have a distraction for an hour or so. Thank you for welcoming me into your homes, into your lives. Enough about my dog's diabetes. Thank you for listening and being supportive. I can feel the love coming my way in advance. I know so many of you listening are the most lovely, caring people, and you've got my back. So thank you. Appreciate you. Let's get to the show. Let's talk about some poll results from last week. Okay, last week I reviewed Boy Next Door. I love this group. I really, really love this group. To me, this is kind of who's next. It reminds me of when I found Stray Kids in 2020, and I thought, years from now, they're going to be the biggest group. I can kind of see a little bit of that with Boy Next Door. I'm vibing heavy with these guys. I think they're super talented. So I had to ask you, do you stan Boy Next Door? 57% of you said you like them, but you don't stan. 43% said no. Interestingly, some of the comments I really get, like D mentioned their music is fine, but not my style. I think it's aimed at a younger crowd. 1,000%. It definitely is. Billy, also agreed with that. So I can see that. They're young and their focus is younger. But there's a real quality there. I'm going to keep my eye on the Boy Next Door boys. I think they're super talented. Last week, I was devastated. I've been going through the ringer recently, haven't I? I was devastated because Doyoung from NCT enlisted. So I asked you, has your alt enlisted yet? Because when your alt enlists, it's like the worst thing ever as a K-pop fan, not to be dramatic, but it's a dramatic night. 67% of my listeners are lucky. Your alt has not gone yet. 33% said yes. Yes. My alt of alts, Baekhyun, I had a nervous breakdown when he left. And then Hyungwon from Monsta X, obviously Jungkook V from BTS, all the EXO guys. Now we've got NCT. My alt list, like my top 5 alts, there's only one of them that hasn't enlisted, and that's Hyunjin from Stray Kids. So I'm with you. I'm with you guys. Staying on the NCT train, I want to know, who is your NCT bias? Like, Taeyong is my number 1 alt of alts in the NCT universe. And then I would say that's followed by Jaehyun and Jungwoo. So clearly 127 has a hold on me. Those are my guys. A lot of people said the question was too hard. I feel you. There was also ones that said, I like them all. Taeyong, we've got another Taeyong ultimate bias, and that listener also prefers Mark Lee and 10. Another one for Billy. Jungwoo is her favorite. Oh my god, yes. Jungwoo is so slapped on, and like I feel so proud when I see people bias Jungwoo. Yes. And Taeyong and Mark. Okay, so a lot of Taeyong, Mark, 10, Jungwoo. None of those are surprising because my listeners have the best taste. Obviously, I talked about HYBE, AI vocal manipulation, the Les Seraphim Coachella debacle last week. I wanted to know what your thoughts were on AI vocal manipulation in a live K-pop performance. And 100% of you said idols should be able to sing without it. 0% said if it sounds good, I don't mind. We're all on the same page with this. I'd rather raw vocals with a little bit of imperfection than completely manipulated vocals that we're being told are real. That just feels a little scammy. I don't like it. This is a fun question. Listen up. I asked, is there any group or artist you're dying to see live that you haven't seen yet? For me, it's EXO. I want to see EXO so bad, and I feel like it'll never happen, but they're my number 1. I heard a lot of ATs mentioned. I've been lucky enough to see them. Highly recommend their concert. We've got some Girls' Generation, some Wavy, Newest. Unfortunately, they disbanded. don't get me started on that one on this HYBE day. Day of Reckoning, maybe? But yeah, definitely those. I agree with you. Wavy, I saw at KCON last year and they were phenomenal. I don't know why I'm surprised. It's an NCT unit. They always bring performances. But yes, highly recommend Wavy. T by T. I still haven't seen T by T, you guys. Isn't that crazy? I feel like it's weird that I haven't seen T by T yet. BTS. Yeah, BTS. They put on a great show. I'm so happy I got to see them before they transitioned to stadiums. No shade on stadiums. I still think their stadium tour was one of the best I've seen. But there's an intimacy in an arena, and seeing BTS in an arena in 2018 was like everything. I hope all of you get to see these artists live, get to see these shows live. You all have such good taste. All of those, the ones I've seen have been amazing. The ones I haven't, Girls' Generation, oh my God. Ugh, those are my queens. Queens, 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 queens. Yes, I'm going with you. My last question, this has nothing to do with K-pop, but I wanted to know if anyone was watching Queen of Tears and asked if I should start it because I need to start a new K-drama, especially now when like I'm stressed when there's a lot happening. That's what I should do this weekend. Start a K-drama. I didn't do it last weekend, but I will let you know if I do end up starting Queen of Tears. I'll let you know if I like it. Sarah watched it and wasn't really feeling it. She watched the first episode. I do that a lot where I watch the first episode and I never go back. Karen loves it. She thinks it's a great story. It's got humor, it's got sadness. Okay. So a couple listeners have watched it. A lot of people haven't, but suggested ones they love. Her Private Life. Did you guys watch Her Private Life? That's been suggested to me a lot because it's about like a K-pop fan. So it seems kind of like in my wheelhouse and all of our wheelhouses. Destined with You. Have you guys watched Destined with You? Rohwoon from SF9. Great recommendation. This might just turn into a K-drama podcast at the end of the day. I love talking about K-dramas and I feel like I need to start a new one. So I will start Queen of Tears this week. That's going to be my escapism while I'm dealing with my dog's diabetes. That's it for the poll questions, for the questions this week. Thank you so much for participating. If you'd like to participate, head on over to the Patreon. It's free. That's right. I've changed things. It's free. So if you want to be part of the community and chat, it's the easiest way. Everyone's nice and cool. We've created a really wonderful community. So please head over, share your thoughts and opinions on these poll questions. Okay, let's move on. Full show. I've got to talk about the HYBE drama. Things are getting intense and crazy, and it's playing out in the public. So the creator of New Jeans, Min Hee Jin, that's her name, right? Yes, the creator of New Jeans, Min Hee Jin, she came over to HYBE a few years ago and she came kind of with her own reputation. I was familiar with her. A lot of us are familiar with her. She's worked with groups at SM. HYBE welcomed her with open arms and they gave her her own subsidiary company, Adore, her own label, and creative freedom to create New Jeans. She only owns 20% of that label. That needs to be said loud. So a lot of drama is happening. And this didn't surprise me because I've been wondering, where are New Jeans? Where are these girls? This is the time they should be releasing album after album and in our faces 24/7, and they're not. So to me, there's a lot of politics going on behind the scenes, right? There has to be. And it's not the first time we've seen this with HYBE and politics behind the scenes. And also just big conglomerate companies. This is what happens. There's always infighting with subsidiaries. It's weird in this case, it's like the parent company fighting with the subsidiaries. That feels a little weird to me, but who knows? So, anyways, it comes out this week that they're auditing, that HYBE will be auditing her and Adore. There's issues. So HYBE releases all of this to the public. It has become insane, the stuff that's been released. So HYBE releases things saying they found documents saying stuff like how to take down HYBE. And, and then the newest one that came out yesterday was that she was consulting with a shaman who was using evil spirits within her to make BTS enlist. What? What? They said that she was trying, the big thing that they said was she was trying to take over Adore and own all of the company and be independent of HYBE. Well, that's not even possible if she only has 20%. So I immediately, when I saw that, was like, something here doesn't make sense to me. Now that they've released all of this stuff, the documents, the shaman stuff, I mean, come on. Is anyone believing this? Is anyone out there believing this? And I'm not sticking up for her. If you've listened to me for a long time, I had major, major issues with the song Cookie on New Jeans' debut. I am not a fan of this. But you cannot like somebody and also be like, well, wait a minute, though. This seems like a witch hunt from HYBE's side, because there's no way. The shaman story, why would HYBE release that to the media? And they did. And the media is eating it up and sharing all of these stories. And I think the reason is because HYBE has manipulated their fans so much. If they mention BTS, ARMY comes out and they will be the minions for HYBE and be on HYBE's side no matter what. And that's exactly what's happened. Luckily, a lot of the general public, including Korean citizens, have kind of sided with her and said, wait a minute. Again, I'm not really siding with anyone in this because I've never been a massive fan of hers, but this is ridiculous. So why the infighting? Why was this an issue to begin with? From what I can gather, she was very, very upset when the girl group that I've refused to name on this podcast since they debuted, because I've seen fraud written all over them from day one, and I'm still not going to say their name. When they debuted, she was very upset because it was clear that they were copying New Jeans. Their look, their sound, their choreography, everything. I thought that when I saw these girls. I'm like, this is literally a carbon copy of New Jeans. Like, it's like the same plastic surgery. They're the same people. It's so obvious. When fans try to argue that, I'm like, what? Okay. And look, people are going to copy the most popular group. This isn't rare. People are going to copy the trends and the most popular group. But I do think she had a valid argument, because within the company, why would they do that? Within your own company, why is your own company debuting a carbon copy of your group, the idea that you worked so hard to bring to fruition? So I think she's valid to say that, honestly, and I would have been pissed off too. So clearly there was pushback, there was infighting, and whatever happened, HYBE decided they're firing her. They want her and her entire team out, and that's it. So today she held a press conference and she had some receipts. Yes, I am here for this. So she came with receipts today and kind of said their allegations against her are ridiculous. She was very upset because she felt like her ideas were being plagiarized. And then she showed text messages between her and Bang PD, the creator of BTS, the head of all of this, the one that brought HYBE to fruition. And they're not very complimentary. And in one of them, he texts her and says, can you step on aespa? Which is like, can you destroy aespa? Is your group going to be good enough to take these girls down? That's what that means. That's what that is. He was real pressed about aespa. What's going to happen? Somebody tweeted, how is HYBE going to handle this? Will they ever be able to survive this? And I shared my thoughts. And what I said is, nothing will happen to them. They will continue as usual because HYBE has the most money, power, and resources in the game by far, which means no matter what they do, they will be successful and the fans will continue to support them. Anyone who goes against them, they will tear down and destroy, including this woman. Anyone who doesn't, it sounded to me like creatively she was very stifled at HYBE. Not surprising. I don't think creativity is their strong suit. Let's say that. She went there with a great opportunity. She created a great product, and then she had to deal with greedy corporate, probably pretty awful people. It happens. Anyone that's worked in the corporate world, you probably understand this. We've all seen it, been there. She was visibly upset at her press conference. You know, she was crying and just saying, like, what can I do? They've got these huge name lawyers. Like, I can't do anything. And she said something that I want to read because this really struck a chord with me. She said, I wish that this public relations culture would change. Please, I wish reporters would listen to the stories of the little ones. Please write the stories of the little ones. It's so unfair, and I didn't even know how to play this game. Keep an eye out if they promote new jeans like the way they're doing it now. She's like begging for the media, for you, for me to tell the truth and to stop allowing the HYBEs of the world to succeed. I feel the exact same way. I feel the exact same way as her in that statement. And I think what's frustrating is nothing that the little guy says or does seems to matter. Because number one, I can only do so much. It's very, very easy for them to dox me, my family, shut my voice down, and ruin my life. Number two, you get sued. You get sued. I can't fight HYBE in court. I don't have that money. You can't say stuff because you get sued. So, really, corporations like that, they're always going to win because the little guy doesn't have the money, resources, and power behind them. I hear you. I hear you so much. And I felt for her when she was crying in that press conference. And again, I'm not even a fan of hers. I'm not sitting here saying she's this perfect angel and they're the evil devils. No, there's a lot of ugh with everyone involved in this. But that doesn't mean some of the stuff that she's saying isn't true and right and shouldn't be listened to. I get why she was crying. I get being so freaking passionate about this and feeling like, what's the point? Nothing's going to change. I have been supremely frustrated recently. So, and I'm sure most of you listeners have picked up on it. I loved K-pop because I loved that it was different from the American music industry. I loved that. I've been around this world for so long and I really don't like the industry. I love music. I love it. It's my passion. But I don't love the music industry. And I loved K-pop because it felt so much better in some ways. And instead of K-pop having like a positive influence on the Western industry, instead, they've conformed. They're now part of the Western industry in the worst way with Lucien Grange and Scooter Braun. And that's it. It's over. It's done. The HYBE model will be the model moving forward. And they will continue to succeed with subpar talent and a lot of shady business dealings. It's hard for me to stomach that and still be part of like a world that pushes the music and, you know, celebrates their product week in and week out. I feel very conflicted about that, to be 100% transparent with all of you, to the point that now there's groups that I don't want to even say their name on my show because I have so little respect for them. Part of the allegations also spoke about buying award shows, buying wins at award shows, buying slots at festivals. Fans are saying payola. Other people are saying that's not what payola means. Payola, just to give you guys a primer, a lot of people that act like industry experts have never been around the industry. They have no clue. They're fans. So what payola came about because people from record labels were paying DJs to spin their artists more because that really mattered back in the day. Now that term can be used for other things, and I think it should. I think if you're paying for a slot at a festival that you weren't invited to, that you're paying off the promoters, that's payola. If you're paying to be on an award show, that's payola. Anything that they're paying for is payola. If they're hustling and getting the PR contacts and just doing all the unethical crap that goes on in the music industry, that's not payola. That's just the business. So just to be clear on like what that means. In her statement, there was some vague stuff saying that Lollapalooza, Billboard Music Awards, all of that, alluding to that type of thing. Not saying it's true or false, who knows, but that was the accusation. I will say from my experience, I know everything in this industry can be bought. There's no regulators, there's no one preventing that. Everything in this industry can be bought. I think the most disheartening thing is seeing all of these fans of HYBE still stick up for HYBE and knowing what has happened to so many idols not on HYBE, it's infuriating. And for people to not be able to connect the dots, I've said this a million times. Don't you think it's weird that none of those idols have ever had any scandals? And their fans will clap back at me. That's because they're perfect. Oh, the BTS guys would never, and these people would never. You can't be that naive. I beg you not to be that naive and stupid. Please. Every single artist under HYBE is not a perfect angel, and all the other labels have the awful ones who get caught up in scandals. That doesn't make much sense when you really think about it. Again, money, resources, power. It's very easy to create scandals. It's very easy to protect yourself from scandals, all of that. I think it's naive to think that HYBE hasn't had their hand in the downfall of a lot of other groups, in the downfall of a lot of idols. You can't sit there and tell me they don't care. They're too busy and they're too. No, they aren't. There's text messages from Bang PD saying, can you step on aespa? Like aespa is the biggest problem. And the executives are texting about how they're going to take aespa down. You can't come back at me anymore and say that that's not true. Of course it is. And that's the way things work. And again, maybe a lot of you don't have life experience. And maybe a lot of you haven't worked for corporations or been around real power, real money. But there's a lot of corruption and awful stuff that goes on behind the scenes that I guess a lot of people just don't want to accept or realize. But trust me, trust me, they're not innocent. And I really, really want to say, because I think the thing is, and I've seen HYBE do this a million times, they use BTS because they know ARMY will go and attack anyone who says BTS's name. I really implore all of you to put on your thinking caps, put on your critical thinking caps. Do you think BTS loves HYBE? Do you think that those guys would willingly choose HYBE if they could do it all over again? Do you think they enthusiastically signed on for another 7 years? Please stop using everything HYBE feeds you as the gospel and try to think for yourself and use some critical thinking. A lot of these idols, their life is pretty hard, and what the company puts them through is pretty stressful. I think BTS have been through the ringer. I think those 7 guys have gone through it. They're the cash cows of the company. I don't know if they would ride as hard for HYBE as their fans do. You can love BTS and not be like HYBE's little minion. That's so bizarre to me that that's the way they've manipulated it. But I don't know. I love BTS. I root for those individuals. I love them. And boy, do I love their old music. But I don't like their label. I don't like the people involved behind the scenes. That doesn't mean I don't support and love BTS. Some of you need to maybe make that distinction and have a more open mind that the company you support, maybe they're not the best people. And on top of that, maybe they've hurt a lot of people and done really shady stuff to a lot of people who didn't deserve it. And I'm not talking about the executives. I'm talking about the idols. I'm talking about kids with dreams and goals who worked their asses off and they were destroyed because of these people. Just food for thought. So that's the HYBE drama. Her life, I'm just going to go out on a limb. Her life will be ruined. Financially, she's going to have to try her best to fight back and she won't be able to. And HYBE will continue. And I think New Jeans are going to suffer. They're going to be the collateral damage, which is completely unfair. Think about it. They were the biggest group last year. The biggest group. You know who didn't suck at a festival? New Jeans. They killed it at Lollapalooza. I loved them at Lollapalooza. It's like Bang PD is mad because he didn't put together this group and his ego can't take that he wasn't the one or something. The whole thing is very bizarre. But I just feel bad for them because they should be on top of the world right now. They should still be the biggest group and the most successful. And they've been completely screwed over by infighting, by egomaniacs and shady stuff. It sucks. It's not fair. I hate it for them. I hate it for their fans. I hate this whole situation. If anything comes from it, please stop standing HYBE. Stop riding hard for a label that doesn't care about you, that uses you. They use you so much and none of you can see it. There's just so much manipulation at every level. It's hard for even me to keep up and go, wait a minute, wait a minute. But I will say, I hope there's a journalist or a fan out there that will do the due diligence to follow the money. Follow the money. And what I mean by that is, look at all of the idols whose careers have been ruined or had to go on hiatus with accusations against them. Why did that person come out and accuse that idol at that specific time? Why would that happen then? Why didn't they do it when the idol was a trainee? Why do they wait till a specific time, which is usually when the group is getting really big and threatening another group's success? Someone comes out of the woodwork and says, he was a bully to me in 5th grade. Why would they do that? And you can think, and I've even thought, they just want attention. They're jealous. They're petty. But my sneaking suspicion is there's money exchanging hands. And I wish instead of hiring trucks to beg companies for a member to come back, that these fans would use that money to investigate behind the scenes. You follow the money. Follow the money. Because one of these accusers at one point has to crack and talk about what really happened. And again, how come they've never accused this specific company or any of their idols? Anyways, that's what's happening with HYBE. It sucks. New Jeans is getting screwed. And I really hope for those girls they can come out of this and still kill it. I think the fans will be rallying behind them. I know I am. They deserve a lot better. They deserve a lot better. This is very, very sad. And aespa, yes. I love them. I love that aespa is the center of this. And they're all sitting there all mad trying to think about how to take aespa down. I don't blame you. Look at them. Look at their live performances. Listen to their music compared to some of these girl groups that HYBE is trying to shove down our throats. What? There's no comparison. aespa are my girls. They've been my girls. Keep their name in your mouth. Keep doing it. You're giving them amazing promotion for their album that's being released next month. I could talk about these theories and opinions all day long. There's a lot about HYBE, and maybe one day I'll spill all the tea. But I completely understand the frustration of a big corrupt company ruining everything for everyone and not being able to fight back because they have more money and resources. I feel you so hard on this, and it sucks. And it sucks for the artists. Like, here I am. I love Boy Next Door. I think they're so talented and amazing. But they've got HYBE money behind them. So do I support this group? Do I talk about this group? It's hard to separate sometimes. And I think that's a personal decision. There's no right or wrong answer for the collective. It's just kind of how you feel about it. But it's getting harder for me, for sure. But I want to implore BTS fans to step away, support BTS, but you don't have to support HYBE. Because again, my sneaking suspicion is that the guys aren't huge HYBE fans anymore either. I mean, I think it's pretty clear a few of them didn't want to be on the label and didn't want to resign. I love the rumors that V and Jenny were releasing their own couple pictures. They were behind all those leaks because they were hoping it would be, outrage from the fans and that they'd have to leave their group. It didn't work. It's the one time all the fans were like, we love this. But, there could be some validity to rumors like that. So maybe just ride for your guys without riding for the company. And I know that that's hard. I know that looks different for all of us, but you can love and support a group without supporting a company that's behind so many shady things. I'm not sure how you can say this is a good person, this is a great company with ethics and morals when they team up with Scooter Braun and Lucian Grange. Let's move on. Up first tonight, it's the 7 members of RIIZE. RIIZE are a 7-member boy group. They debuted on SM in 2023. Right now, there are only 6 members because, speaking of ridiculous scandals that shouldn't have happened and ruined people's lives, Seunghan is on hiatus for ridiculous reasons. And yeah, wonder what happened there. Anyways, I will still call them a 7-member group. The new single is called Impossible. They've been releasing singles. It's an interesting rollout here for this group. Not sure if I agree with it or not. I think selfishly, I want an album. I at least want an EP. They keep doing single after single. Like, if the music's good, I'm not mad, but I'm just kind of like, man, give us a whole project. Give me something a little meatier to sink my teeth into. That said, let's talk about this one. It's called Impossible. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. This is a house banger for summer. It's so bright and fun. And speaking, it's a house song, like house music. I think SM does house music better than any other K-pop label. They kill it with this genre. They really get it, embody it. Impossible is just a great house song. In the K-pop landscape right now, this song feels like such a breath of fresh air. I love it. I love the fun kind of simplicity to it. And it kind of takes me back to the 90s. I really, really, really like this sound. Let's be clear, it's not groundbreaking, but for what it is, it's so good. Everything doesn't have to be innovative and groundbreaking. Let's just have a fun summer song with a house beat. Perfect. Nailed it. Simple. This one puts me in a good mood. I love the bridge. Great dance break. Love the dance break that's built in. Very smart. This group are killer dancers. I like this song. I like this song. And again, it doesn't have to be like groundbreaking. At this point, to be honest, I just want a K-pop song that I want to listen to more than once. And this has been very easy to listen to over and over again. I'm really feeling it. Let's talk about the music video. Love it. I like the beginning where you have Wanbin starting things off in a train station, and then he like jumps into the moving train. And then Sohee turns around. It's just fun, a little like cheeky. I like Sohee's face when he says, "Give me that beat." Yeah, really cute, really fun, sets the tone. Let's go, guys. They're just kind of dancing in and around a subway station. There's really lovely street scenes. But I think it's really true that like the choreography is the star here. And that kind of holds true when I think about it with every single one of RIIZE's releases, like Talk Sexy, Memories, all of their songs. The choreography is so, so good. I love watching their choreography. Impossible choreography looks impossible. So they nailed it with that. This choreography looks so freaking hard. And they just execute it like insanely smooth. Shotaro is so good. I love it. I love watching Shotaro dance. He's like phenomenal. The expression through his body. You can't teach that. This is a born dancer, and I love it. But that's not to say the other members aren't wonderful. The other 5 members in this music video do an amazing job. And I like that they each have a little bit of their own flair. They do a really wonderful job being so in sync and coordinated. But in like really small moments, you can see a little bit of individuality. That's a hard balance to strike with a group. And I think they do it very, very well. They all look very handsome and cool. This group's face cards will never decline. They all look so handsome and cool. There's a real feeling of youth, but not too young. This feels like college guys hanging out to me. The party scenes feel like a college party. I love the feel of this video. And I think going into summer, it's like setting the tone. We're going to have like a 90s house summer, and I'm so here for it. I love this release. I'm a huge, 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 huge fan of RIIZE. Like a lot of fans, I wish it could be all 7 of them, but that in no way stops me from supporting the 6 remaining members. I think they're wonderful. So congratulations to them. Let's talk about bias and Wrecker, shall we? You all know my bias in this group. He's been my bias since this group was announced. Shotaro. I absolutely adore Shotaro. I feel like I would fight for Shotaro. Like if someone says something bad about him, he just is like the nicest guy in the world. He's so sweet and endearing, but his talent. Yes, I'm so here for Shotaro. For Wrecker, I kind of go all over the place because I really like all the members and I think they all bring something special. So Unsuk has been my Wrecker. Don't worry, he's still my Wrecker. With that blonde hair, I'm not leaving him. But Sungchin is right there. Like, wow. And then I love Wanbin and Sohee and Anton. Like, can we talk about Anton recently? Amazing. He's just like coming into his own as a young man, as an idol. I see the confidence rising more and more and more, killing it. Shout out to Anton. Yes, I see you. But all of the members are fantastic. I love this group. On the single, they also released a full version of Siren. The Siren choreography is legendary. This group, I don't think anyone is dancing like them. You can't no one is dancing like RIIZE. No one is giving us that choreo and that talent right now. They're just on another level compared to their peers when it comes to what they do on stage. Shout out to RIIZE. I love this group. Very proud of them. Give me more to talk about. Give me more, give me more, give me more. I want more to talk about. I want an album. I want an EP. Let's move on though, because I want to talk about another SM artist, SM Night. Doyoung. Doyoung debuted as a member of NCT in 2016. He's a big part of NCT 127, Doyoung. He's a vocalist in SM, and we finally got a full release from him, a solo debut. It's called Youth, the first album. He gave us 10 songs. The title track is Little Light. Okay. To be fair, this is what I was expecting. I wanted some R&B, some stuff more like Perfume, but we got more of like K-drama soundtrack type music from him. That's not a diss. It's just like personally, I'm like, oh, give me some R&B. And we didn't quite get there. That said, I think he executes Little Light well. It's kind of like a light pop rock sound with an electric guitar. I like the piano. I thought that was a nice add. The chorus here is good, but it's not great. It's okay. It ramps up a bit to where he can open his voice and belt a little more. The music is pretty. His voice sounds good. I don't 100% connect with this one. I've got to be honest. I love Doyoung, but I'm not super, super excited about Little Light. It's okay. But listening to the album, I was a little bit surprised this was the single. I thought another song, I was like, oh, I bet you this is the single. I was surprised because what I try to do is have as little information as possible. I know the date that something's dropping, and usually that's it. So then I listened to the entire project. Then I watch the music video, and that's how I figure out what the title track is. So this one I was a little surprised. I think there's maybe another song on the album I would have chosen. I'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the music video. There's these like green shooting star kind of northern lights type of things happening. It looks like it's a small town. He sneaks out at night and he's riding his bike somewhere. I loved the hilltop scenes. When he's on top of the hill singing, I thought those were really beautiful shots. He looked very handsome. And then you see him like chasing the green lights, riding his bike. He's chasing the green light. It goes with the theme of the song, Little Light. I like that it's green. That's very Neo. That's very NCT coded. It feels like a K-drama. It's very young and innocent. I think the music video was good and it went with the song. So no knocks there. Let's talk about the album. My album picks are From Little Wave, Time Machine, and Rewind. From Little Wave, it felt way more dynamic to me than Little Light. I figured this was the title track. It's like the third track on the album. I was like, oh, this has to be the title track. It just has a more dynamic, fuller sound, a little bit more of a driving rock sound. I think this may have been a better choice stylistically for the title track, for the single. That said, I understand why they did Little Light, and I think it worked okay. But I would give a slight edge to From Little Wave. I liked that song. Time Machine features Mark Lee from NCT, and Taeyeon, the leader of Girls' Generation, one of the best voices in K-pop. This is probably the best song on the album. They really nailed it with this one. It's like SM Superstars, and I specifically loved the harmonies. There's some really, really nice moments between Mark and Doyoung, and then also Taeyeon and Doyoung. It's a romantic love song. It's very cute. It's like even if you went back in time, you'd still fall in love again. Very cutesy and romantic. But because there's so much talent on this one and it's structured so well, I really liked the song. It wasn't too cutesy for me. I thought it was really nice. And then my last pick for his album is Rewind. For whatever reason, I felt like he was the most emotionally connected to this one. I really felt the vocal performance, tender vulnerability, and most importantly, sadness. There's a real pain in this song. There's a real longing in this song. And his vocal performance sold it for me. I felt it. I felt it. So kudos for that one. Because of my time constraints this week, I don't have any rankings for Doyoung's album. I liked this album, but I didn't love it. I think it's very like this was written for a K-drama. This is a K-drama soundtrack sounding album. There's not tons of variety. And I'm sure a lot of people loved it and it resonated with them. This just isn't maybe my taste. I think SM knocks it out of the park when they do dance music, R&B music, hip hop music, but it's a little bit more challenging maybe to do like pop rock sound. I immediately compared it with Kian because they're both known as like power vocalists and because of Youth. Youth was the name of one of Kian's projects. So when I saw that Doyoung's was named something very, very similar, Youth, the first album, it's the same thing. So I immediately went to Kian and I found myself just wanting to listen to Kian. I think that album is much more my style. So this isn't bad. It's fine for what it is, but this isn't an album I'm going to run back to and listen to all the time. I love Doyoung. I think he's super talented. And if he's happy with this project, that's amazing because I think he did a really good job on it. It's just not my cup of tea. Let's move on. I've got to be real. I'm most excited to talk about this one tonight. Big Ocean. Big Ocean are a 3-member boy group that debuted on April 20th under Parastar Entertainment. These members are a little bit different than most K-boy groups, K-pop debuts, because they're older. These guys are debuting, I think they range in age from like 20 to 25, and they're also hearing impaired. They actually debuted on Korea's Persons with Disabilities Day. They're the first hearing impaired K-pop group. All 3 members lost their hearing at different parts in their lives. So they can hear now with the help of cochlear implants and hearing aids. They're not traditional trainees. They had full lives before deciding to do this. One of them was an audiologist. One was like a full-time influencer. Another one was on the para ski team for downhill racing. So these weren't guys that like grew up in the trainee system, but they were interested. And when the opportunity presented itself, so they decided to give it a shot. This group started as 7 members. Only 3 of them ended up sticking with it and debuting. And that's because it's so hard. What they're doing is incredibly, incredibly difficult. Like, it's hard for people who don't have the extra challenge of being hearing impaired. Staff members help the group keep the beat visually. They sit below them and like clap to the beat. They have screens flashing to help them. And then they also wear watches during their live performances that like flash brightly and they vibrate to the beat to help them. They also said they can feel kind of the vibrations through the floor. And each member has a different level of hearing loss. So, like vocally, that's very difficult. So, they do use auto tune and some AI technology to help the vocal performance. This is the one time I'm not going to be mad about that. I think that's like, yeah, that's when technology can actually be very helpful and should be used. So, yes, I'm fine with that. It's worth noting before we talk about the song, one of the members shared that RM, Namjoon from BTS, donated 100 million won, that's like $75,000, to the school he was attending. It was a school for deaf children. And RM donated that music for arts and music programs. He recognized, like, just because these people might have a disability, just because someone's deaf, doesn't mean they can't create music and be a part of this world. I love that. I love that so much. That was in 2019, I think, is when he did that. Kudos to him. I wish more people recognized and understood that. Just because someone might not have the capability in the same way that you and I do doesn't mean they're not interested. Doesn't mean they don't want to sit at a piano and learn to play or learn to dance or learn to sing. And why stop them from that? Why not encourage them to do it? There's so much with this group that's inspiring and beautiful. And I think in moments where people have the resources like RM to donate to a school for deaf children and encourage them to get into music, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's very inspiring to me personally. But I'm here to talk about the music. I critique music. So let's talk about this debut. The single is called Glow. It's a remake of a song called Hope by HOT. They made the song their own. I think this is such a like upgrade from the original, no shade, but it's brighter, smoother production. It feels current and fun. And I think most importantly, the lyrics are really meaningful. It's a kind of about facing challenges together, and it's very uplifting in the end. There's a lyric that says, I held the treasure in the deep sea. Rather than being silent, I raised my voice. Wow, can you hear me? Me who was inarticulate, me who was always scared as if I was alone. I love that. I yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. And they all do a really great job. And I like that their voices sound a little bit different. You can easily distinguish each member. There's a lot of character in the performance. I love this song. I love it. And to be quite honest, after the week I've had, I need this song. I need a song about kind of getting through it. An uplifting, warm song. So I'm a huge fan of this. The music video was interesting. It wasn't kind of the traditional music video. It showed their journey. It was very behind the scenes. It shows them practicing, how the song came together. I have to say, their choreography, they didn't go easy on these people just because they're hearing impaired. This choreography is hard. It's typical K-pop choreography. It's very difficult. And they nail it. They do such a great job. It's so fun watching it all come together. Because again, I don't think unless you have dealt with that, you understand how difficult that must be. Really, really difficult. And they just killed it. It moved me to tears to watching their team work with them moved me to tears. It was really powerful and beautiful. They can do it just like other idols. They can do it. It just takes a little more work. It takes people who are willing to figure out, how do we make this work? How can we make this work? These guys have the abilities. They're great dancers. Let's figure out how to make this work. It was inspiring for me and should be inspiring for everyone. This is so freaking beautiful. They're really handsome. All three members are really handsome and they're wonderful performers. I love watching them perform. It brought a smile to my face. I watched like the weekly shows where they got to perform. They killed it. They should be so proud of themselves and their team should be so proud. They executed something that when I first heard it, I was like, how is that going to work? Okay, they're deaf. How can they be a K-pop group? It was hard for me in that first moment to realize, how is this going to work? It was so cool to watch the behind the scenes, watch their interviews, realize how it all came together. And I think a company like Paristar Entertainment, who's dedicated to working with people with disabilities, it's so powerful. It's so powerful. I think for a lot of people who, don't have disabilities and don't have those issues, all people want to do is just be seen as equal. They don't want to be treated special. They just want to be seen as equal. They're just like everyone is just like everyone else when it comes down to it. We all want to fit in. We all want to be loved. All of those feelings are universal, whether you have a disability or not. And I love things like this because it puts kind of in the forefront, at least for me personally, how similar we all are. How similar we are, and also how a lot of people get handed a pretty crappy deal in life. And it's amazing how they're able to overcome that and succeed at things that the average person can't do. I can't do this. I would have been kicked out of being a trainee. I would have never debuted. Let's get real. My mouth would have ruined that opportunity for me no matter how much I tried. I just think it's very beautiful to give people equal opportunity. To me, this is what equality is. To me, this is what equal opportunity is. I love seeing people who have to work even harder, knock it out of the park, execute that choreography, give killer performances on the big stage. I'm so proud of Big Ocean. And I think, again, the biggest thing in this is the song is good. They're talented. Whether they're disabled or not, I love this group. They're adorable and I'm rooting for them. So, I'm definitely not just saying I like it because of the storyline behind them. I think the song is great. I think it's really cute. They're very likable. I'm rooting for them. I'm a big, big Ocean fan, and I will review their releases moving forward. And this means a lot too. People say representation matters. I watched a video of hearing impaired fans from all over the world congratulating them on their debut. It was so heartwarming. This means something to people who don't feel seen or heard. You don't have to be self-conscious of your voice, no matter what it sounds like. Even if you can't hear it, you don't have to be scared to have a voice. I loved this. I'm so, so proud. I gotta say, I don't have a bias though, because I think these three members have very different personalities and they're all like really charming and likable. I watched a great interview with them and I'm like, oh, I love him. Oh, no, wait. So I'm triple biasing Big Ocean. They're great. Congratulations. So amazing to see. And I just want to see more. I think you knocked it out of the park. And congratulations to the team. Everyone involved in this. Amazing work. Let's move on to the news. Here's what's happened in the world of K-pop since I spoke with you last week. I already covered the HYBE stuff. I could talk about it for hours. I'm not going to. But that's obviously the biggest story this week. ATEEZ announced a new tour. They're playing some stadiums this time. That's a huge goal of theirs, and they're doing it. Their second weekend Coachella performance was phenomenal. It was even better than weekend one. They knocked it out of the park. ATEEZ is on top of the world right now. It is so deserved. I'm so, so proud of them. And I loved that they went to a Dodgers game. Yeonho threw the first pitch. It was very good. I'm just proud of ATEEZ. They deserve all the success coming their way. IM from Monsta X announced a huge tour. Tickets are already on sale. So he's touring all over the place. That's exciting from Mambebe, and specifically IM biases. Boy Next Door, they beat their first week sales record, selling over 530,000 copies of How. They've already racked up some show wins. This group is the future, you guys. I said it earlier. They have the it factor. So if you want to hear my review of them, listen to last week's episode. I reviewed the whole album. Congratulations to them. Simon Dominic left AOMG. This comes after Gray and a slew of other artists have left within the past couple months. Jay Park left, and they're falling like dominoes. Whether you like him or hate him, you cannot discount Jay Park's influence in the industry. Without him, that label's nothing. But Simon Dominic's a huge name to leave the label. I feel like that's like could be donezo for AOMG. Renjun from NCT Dream, he's sitting out some activities right now. He's struggling with anxiety. Let's all send him a lot of love and support. I'm wondering if it's because he clapped back to a rude fan who left a really mean comment. We know what happens to idols when they dare stand up for themselves. So I hope he's okay. Sending a lot of love his way. Cherry Bullet announced their disbandment, sending love to those girls. They worked really hard and now it's over. That's a horrible feeling. I hope they all land on their feet and do well individually. Last week, April 19th, marked a year since Moonbin left us. And his Astro member, Jinjin, released a song with Moonbin called Fly in remembrance. It's beautiful. It's a good song. Yeah, it was really special. It was just a very special way to remember him and to celebrate him. I think for a lot of us, hearing his voice again was powerful. I looked to the moon that night. I can't believe it's been a year. Time is flying, you guys. Like, to be honest, like Moonbin's passing changed things for me in this world. He wasn't the first suicide in K-pop, and sadly, he won't be the last. But there was something about it that I felt a shift personally in how I consume K-pop, how I view it, and things haven't been the same for me since. So it's an impactful day, and I wasn't going to talk about it at all, but I have to. I have to bring it up, and I want us to always remember Moonbin. He was such a bright light, and it's just a tragedy. So sending love to his family and friends and fans and everyone like me who were really impacted by what happened with him. I'm not very eloquent tonight. I think there's just so much going on. It all feels like all encompassing all of a sudden. There's so much going on in the K-pop world. There's so much going on in my life. I'm probably not my best episode, but I tried my best to get something out for you guys this week. Again, I may not be doing weekly episodes for the next month or so. I'll keep you updated on social media because there's a lot going on personally that I need to attend to. And one of the most important things that I'll ask for prayers and positivity, it's Freddie. I just want my dog to be okay. If Freddie's okay, then everything else in the world I can deal with. But Freddie not being okay is like, that's my child. So hoping for the best. I will keep you guys updated. I'll try not to babble about it too long because I know you're not tuning into this to hear about my diabetic dog. You want to hear my thoughts on K-pop. I love music and I love the community we've built. I will be back next week, most likely. Next week, I'm going to talk about HYBE. I want to talk about 17. Zico and Jenny have a song coming out. There's a lot to talk about. Zero Base One just released a song. There's always content to review and always things for me to talk about. So as long as life is okay, I will be back next week. If not, don't worry, I'll be back. And I'll keep you guys updated. Just want to give you a heads up and set expectations because things are going to be a little bit up in the air and stressful the next month or so for me. So thank you so much for your love and support. Thank you for listening and thank you for being a part of my life. I really appreciate my relationship with all my listeners and viewers. I love you guys. You're the reason I come back every week. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I hope life is good for you. I hope things are going well. That's the thing about life. It's ups and downs. Things are great and then they're not so great. And you have to try your best to hold on through the not so great times. So I hope for all of you, you're in a good time and things are great. And if you're not, if you're down here like me in a not so great time, things will get better. It might take a year, it may take a month, it may take a week. Tomorrow, things could get better and it could be a better day. And I really hope that for all of you. So, lots of love, lots of hugs, lots of shared positivity. I will talk to you later. I love you guys. Bye.